Hello. Right, so it's day 2 of Foxic mk4 build, and today I spent the entirety of the day wiring. I am now I'm probably more solder than I am man, and my lungs are so full of stuff they shouldn't be full of, but it's wired up, so I'm going to give it a test. So, radio on. Okay, radio's on. That's an excellent sign. You've no idea how happy that makes me. Yes! So it works. I'm so overjoyed. See, this is what happens when you have enough time to prepare and you have enough spare robots, both this guy here and this guy here, to do your testing while you wait for your machinist to do the majority of the machining. The only thing left to test would be the weapon, but the weapon needs a bit of work before I can do that. I've got to add another stage because I broke a stage testing, so I'm unbelievably happy. In fact, there's only one more thing to do, which I'll do in a second, and I'll show you. Hold on. So this is out of date now, so let's model select, model name, select. Gosh. So I got a little ahead of myself. Yes, it's wired up. Yes, it works. But the point of making these videos was to show you a bit more about the robot. So I'm also going to show you now, instead of being all excited, what exactly I did today and how it all works in the robot. So, forgive the rat's nest that I've got at the minute. It is actually, the major issue on this side is the length of the RC cables. That's a bit of a mess. This stuff here is just needs tidying up and to sit a little better. So what I did is, what I've got is I've got some 8 gauge cable, which is this red and black stuff. I bought 6 meters of 8 gauge, and I think I've used about half of it. There's quite a lot of wiring in this little bagger. So I have a power line, so positive and negative, that runs across the middle, which goes in a channel which is just there, and that runs through the robot. It's a big channel because I've got to get the cables for the weapon. I've got to come through into this side as well. So power, main power driving, go through left to right, whichever way really. And then I've got another power cable, which you can see down there because I've got a secondary red. So the two sides of the electrics are, so you have the battery side before the switch and you have the power side after the switch. So one is positive before the switch and one is positive after the switch. So with 2 batteries on either side, I don't have to run super long cables for motors, which is very bad for brushless because you end up with additional resistance, which is not something you want with motors. It's quite minimal, but it's with brushless motors, it's not something I wanted to risk, so I prefer this setup. Anyway, So, two batteries there, two batteries there. They each plug into a connector down here, as you can see. That loops together here to make them 12S. So there's a 12S pack there and a 12S pack there. So the negative just is open, it's ready to be connected, and that's where it connects to 3 of these on either side. 2, one for each drive motor, the one down here, one up there. They connect direct via the speed controllers, and this one here is for the weapon speed controller, which is in the drawers over there, if you can see him there. On this side there is another 3 connectors, and same again, 2 motors, and the third one is the Beck and power lights. So yeah, by doing it that way I can make a very, very simple change so that I can run in the UK. In the UK you are required to run a fuse which is below the maximum discharge of your batteries. You are not currently required that in America, so I haven't bothered putting one in. But I can just unplug this guy here and put a fuse in line and then make an additional connection between it. Yeah, so that's how the wire, that's it really. So there are 2 voltage sides with this little guy. So you have the 12S side, which is 44.4 volt, but let's call it 45 volt, because fully charged it's over that, but with current draw it drops. So call it 45. You have the 45 volt system, which does all of the important stuff like the drive and the weapons. The 5 volt system does all of the other important stuff. Now the 5 volt system actually drives on the MGMs the fans, but it also drives the radio gear. So yeah, without that working, you ain't going to get it working. So yeah. So the high voltage side is your drive side, and the low voltage side is your radio control. Anything else I've forgotten? No, I think that's it. The only things left to do in terms of the wiring, aside from tidying up with cable ties and getting the I've had a long day soldering, so forgive me. I have some fireproof racing driver's socks that the batteries go in, and then they've got foam that goes around them, because as you can see down here there's a bit of space there and there's a bit of space up there as well, so they have a bit of room to sort of shock absorb. The fireproof sock stops the fire from a battery, should I have a battery fire, from spreading through and taking out these super expensive electronics. So yeah, that should be okay. Yeah, so the things that I've got to do other than tidy up are I've got to put some heat shrink between over the connectors for the motors, and that's it for the wiring. Maybe shorten a couple of things, some of them are quite long, although I do have space for everything, so maybe I won't, we'll see. I need to, tomorrow, take the bottom plate back off again, drill out the holes for the base plates to be mounted, drill out the holes for the weapon to be mounted, and drill out the holes for the anti-tipper to be mounted, and then I can mount all of those things. I'm less stressed about getting the weapon in just yet. I just want to get it driving, and I want to have it on the floor moving around, so I can sort of come back to you with some good news on that. But that's next, so sweet.